with that. Let's move on to some information about camp. So non-related or non-summer related updates. So to get this out of the way, if you have not seen it, for those that are applying for Madden Scholarship or currently have the Madden Scholarship and want to continue that, we have extended the deadline till January 1st, 2021. So if you are wanting to apply for that, please make sure that you finish all parts of the application and get it completed, submitted to the, on the Madden page. There's an email on there. Please submit that before January 1st. I want to make sure that everyone has that opportunity. With COVID and everything else, we're just extending it out to just to make sure everyone's got that opportunity. Moving on, camp promotion video contest. So what we're trying to do this year is do more social media posting and more in social media engagement. So I am holding a contest for the best video that any of the staffers, whether you're past or current, to promote summer camp. Whether it's a fun, engaging video, it can be about what's going to happen at summer camp, things that have happened at summer camp, or it could be just you need to come to summer camp and a promotional video for units. So the best, first I want you to send, if you create a video, please send it to me. My email is Willie, W-I-L-L-I-E, .Rochester, R-O-C-H-E-S-T-E-R, @scouting.org. We'll also put this in the chat. And basically what we're looking at is a 1 to 2 minute video. 1 to 2 minute video, that's it. Very short, very sweet, to the point. And I would like this contest to be end to end by January 15th. So the middle of January, to have all of your submissions in. Though if we use your video, I will send you a special little gift from the Denver Area Council in Peaceful Valley in the mail. You will get it in the mail. So if we use your video, so please include your mailing address. So if we choose your video, we can go on with that. Camp promotion help. One of these things that we're trying to do is make sure that all of our units know that 1, we are going to have summer camp, 2, how to sign up, and 3, any information about what's coming up for summer camp. So I am offering 8 weeks at camp. You can pick from January 1st, count out 8 weeks from there. If you come to 5 of them, one day at the office to make some phone calls, send some emails, do some things for camp, you will get a special recognition gift. Only those that complete 5 of the 8 weeks will get this gift. It is not going to be automatically given to management. It will not automatically be given to me or anyone at the council office. This will be a special covenant award or recognition gift. We're still looking at some different ideas, but they will not be cheap. They will not necessarily be from the trading post. These will be special ordered, sized to you, if that makes sense. So if you have more questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer those. Again, my email, we'll put that in the chat as well. John, if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. So moving on, next slide, please.
Real quick, you have a couple quick questions on that. Let's just address them real quick. They're asking, do you have to come to the council headquarters for the camp promotion help? Yes, that is part of the promotion. We are trying to, instead of virtually work from home, we have some ways to do social distancing here at the office due to the size of our office. So yes, you will have to come to the DAC headquarters for one day. And I would say about 4 to 5 hours. That would be the max. So yeah, hope that answers the question. Any others? It doesn't look like it. Oh, if you guys have any questions anytime during this presentation, feel free to throw them in the chat. We also will address them all at the end as well when we have a Q&A portion. But if you have any to what we're talking about, just go ahead and throw them in the chat. On to the next slide, please. All right. So I know that 2020 season was not very good. I know that I was not here for the entire situation. I understand that a lot of you guys are still upset or frustrated about how the information was delegated to the rest of the staff before we shut down. I
I want to apologize for the miscommunication on behalf of the Denver Area Council. It was my understanding, like I said, I was not here for that entire ordeal, but it's my understanding that there were many factors in play, including a private camp that was close to PV, having an outbreak 48 hours before we made that announcement to shut down. So I want to apologize for the miscommunication out there. There were things that were kind of out of our control as far as the council goes. However, we are actively trying to make that communication stream a lot better. The current management staff that we have looked at some of those pitfalls in the communication system, and we are actively trying to fix those. So we are moving forward in a positive direction. If you have questions or concerns, please reach out to me or any of the management staff. We're always open for feedback and criticism, so please let us know. I imagine all of you guys want to put 2020 behind us and focus on 2021. I'm definitely one of those people. So what we have done and the camp management staff has done is we are currently working on a COVID plan and a non-COVID plan. So basically meaning, to answer the question that happened for 2021 or 2020, is that we will be having camp no matter what. We are putting procedures in place no matter what, we will have camp. We've been talking with the Elbert County Health Director. A couple of meetings have happened already. We've already put in some of our procedural places. And we got approval from them. So they are all on board to work with us for summer. So just want to make sure everyone knows that. Moving on, please and thank you. All right, so council membership. I want to give you guys an update on there has been talks about changes happening at the council level, at the national level, at summer camp, but no one has really talked about what changes those really are. So I want to kind of hit some of these key points. So I want to talk about the council membership numbers. If you guys haven't heard, with the LDS leaving in the past year, with COVID, with the lawsuits, the bankruptcies from the national level and those announcements, our membership has taken a huge hit. Nationally as well as the council. John, can you go to the next slide real quick? So this slide right here gives you an indication about what our membership currently looks like from 2017, and you can see the future projections for 2021. As you can see, our DAC membership, total membership was 22,000, almost 23,000. And this year, we are at 11,000. So that's a significant drop. That is total wide. So if you guys look at the purple, that is our troop membership. So that is what comes to Peaceful Valley at Camp Chris Dobbins. And you can see that we, just in 2019, we had 9,000 Scouts BSA members. Currently, to date, we have 4,500. We are expecting to lose another 500-ish. Which will drop us down to about 4,000 for 2021. So past years, we have always planned for a significant amount of people to come to camp. That market is really shrinking down. You can also see our attendance that we've had in the blue. That's attendance for summer camp at Chris Dobbins. The attendance has gone up from 2018 to 2019. Of course, we didn't have summer camp in 2020. Currently, the 650 that you see there, that's what we currently have signed up or as committed for summer camp. So as you guys can see, this is one of our significant changes. Our market that comes to camp that provides us, or that we provide that program for, is drastically shrinking. So that's just one of the changes I want to make sure that you guys all know. Talking about the budget, I want to talk about the budget real quick. So the council budget has always been around 9 million to about 9.5 as an operating budget for the entire council. What we're projecting for 2021's budget, operating budget, is $4 million. So that's a significant drop, about $5 million worth of loss of income. That's fundraising, that's popcorn, that's camp cards, investment in character. That's all of it, and camping, summer camp, off season, all of that plays into this projected $4 million operation budget. So that is one of the changes. A part of this is due to the national announcement with bankruptcy and lawsuits, but also this is due to COVID. COVID has significantly hindered our outdoor scouting program. And so we're seeing that effect in our membership and in our budget as well. John, if you'll go to the next slide. Perfect. So this slide right here is what we currently have signed up for reservations. I've had it broken out between our summer camp programs that we're offering. And you can see what our out-of-state, out-of-council versus in-council, and we are currently only at 19.7% filled. In past years at this time, we are around 60 to 65% filled. So this is some of the changes. Our troops are not making the decisions as quickly as what we expect them to in past years, or what they've done in past years. So this is one of the significant changes that's happened over the 2020 season, from 2019 to 2020 and moving into 2021. John, do you want to have questions before we go into 2021?
So real quick before that, I want to jump, I just saw this message, so I want to jump back to what we talked about with the 2020. We just want to be clear about that the issues with summer camp and the timeline and the announcement came from the council level. The seasonal staff that we hired, which was like Amanda, Nate, Devin, Matt, like everyone on board, it was not, they didn't even know a lot of the stuff until they were told by the powers that be. And so, they did a really good job of communicating with the staff with everything that they were given. There was nothing that they were told that didn't go to you guys. So, but there were some things that were kept from them until it was announced to the whole staff from the council level. So just want to be clear that that was from, Willie apologized about from the council. That was from the council level, the council leadership, not from the seasonal staff management. The management did a fantastic job with what they were dealt with and trying to come up with a new program very quickly. So just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, thank you, John, for that. And that's very true. When I, on behalf of the Denver Area Council, I really do sincerely mean that I apologize for the miscommunication. I understand that that was a huge frustration, and to be frank, it just wasn't fair. Like I said, there were things that were out of our control as far as the council level is concerned, and we try to communicate that as effectively as possible, and we failed on that. And so I want to apologize for that, and I want to let you know that we are actively trying to make that communication stream a lot better. You can talk to the current management staff that we have. They have seen more communication and planning than what's been done in past years as well. So please reach out to them, Q&A, and that's kind of what this is all for. Is there any other questions, John, that you saw in the chat?
I don't see any right now. Take a brief moment. If anyone has any questions of where we are at now, we're just about to talk about 2021. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat. If not, we'll move on here in just a moment. I don't think there's any questions, and if so, we'll come back to them at the end. So let's go ahead and move on to what 2021 will look like.
Very good. All right, so let's talk about the timeline of camp. So starting from the very beginning, we will be having some staff development meetings in the spring. We're still determining those after the interviews are done. We had some interviews this morning. We had some interviews a couple weeks ago, and we have another round of interviews coming up in January. So there will be some announcements on staff development meetings. We're not sure what that's going to look like as far as in-person versus virtual. It just depends on what our current COVID status is for the council, for Lakewood area, and what we're able to have in one room or one event. We have scheduled right now currently our ranch hand work days are May 1st and May 8th. Traditionally, you guys have always picked one of the two to go to, but I want to make sure that you guys have those dates now because those are scheduled. So take a look at those on your calendar and start planning ahead. Senior Staff Week will happen May 27th through the 29th. And then Staff Week will happen May 30th through June 5th. Camp operation, so week 1, going all the way to the end of the summer, will go from June 6th to July 17th. All right, and then we will have camp cleanup July 18th through the 21st. So some of you may say that this is a little bit less than what we've done in past years. Some of it is. We're having to cut out some weeks due to budgets, due to our pool, like I was saying. Our pool is shrinking. So we can't plan for the large numbers we've had in past years. We have to plan for what we're expecting to have. So that's why we have those dates. Some big changes. So we talked about some big changes happening at the council level. I want to talk
real quick, Willie.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. With dates, the camp staff website has some dates on it. It will be updated with what was just presented to you at some point later today or this weekend. So the camp staff website, I'll post all those dates on there so that way you guys have it. Don't have to worry about writing it down or whatever. Those will be on there some point this weekend.
Correct. And going forward, that should always be a point of reference. If you're wanting any information about camp staff, please visit the camp staff website because we are trying to keep everything up to date as possible. So if there's questions that you have, I would check the website first to see if that answers your question. So moving into some of the changes, many of you guys have heard that we've had a lot of changes in the 2020 year, some of those at the council level. We have a new Scout executive, new CEO for the Denver Area Council. His name is Chuck Brassfield. You guys all probably knew, everyone probably knew John Cabiza. He retired in February and Chuck came in June 1st. He is taking the council in a new direction. Some of that reasoning is due to COVID. Some of that is due to the bankruptcy, to the lawsuits, and our projection of membership. So we're changing he is changing some of the directions. He has moved around a lot of people at the professional level in different positions, including myself. I'm coming from a district executive over to the camping director. We've also, due to COVID and budgetary reasons, we've had to reduce the professional staff positions like myself at least 25%. We've had to do a handful of what we call reduction in force. So that's some of the council level changes. Some of the summer camp level changes. We have a new camping director, ranch director. That's me. We have a new program director. That's Heidi. We have a new camp director for Dobbins with interviews. We have a new Chris Dobbins program structure due to COVID. And then our summer camp operations, as many of you may heard, Tahosa is not going to have a summer camp operations for 2021 like it's done in past years. Camp Dietler will not operate their traditional summer camp operations in 2021. NYLT will actually take over Camp Dietler for the first 3 weeks of the summer. So that's just some top level view changes that have happened at the summer camp level. And the reason I'm covering this is because I continually hear there are changes. We hear that there are changes being made, but we just don't know what those changes are. I'm a very transparent person, and I want to make sure that you all understand where some of these changes are actually coming from and what they are, and how it affects our summer camp operation and what it does for us. John, you want to move to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, and so the last thing I've got on here is John had sent out a survey. Or John, have you sent that out yet, or was that just to the management?
Just to the management team. So this is the first that we're talking about it.
Gotcha. Okay, so this right here is what we are referring to as the Be Heard campaign. And this is more, I've already said that I'm all about feedback. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And this is the avenue for you to do so. We have created a Microsoft form. It can be anonymous if you like, to give us honest feedback about what do you think summer camp should be like, how summer camp has done in past years, some of the struggles that you've seen in summer camp regarding staff and operations. This is really for you to be honest And if you don't feel comfortable talking with me in person, this is a great way to do so. So this will also be posted on the camp staff website. Camp management also, I'm sorry?
On the left side of the website, under the important links, is that logo as it's pointing to you right now. That's where you can access this form.
Very good. So I highly encourage everyone to utilize this form. Whether you're past staff, you haven't been at staff in the past couple of years, whether you were here last year or 2020 for the whole issues, it doesn't matter. I want feedback because overall our goal is to make sure that summer camp for 2021 happens and that we are set up for success. And the only way for that is to have open communication. So I'm absolutely open for feedback. Anybody, any of the current staff that we have or some of the staff that's on the call today that I've actually talked to, please advocate that I want to hear feedback and I'm open to it. I won't hold it against you. I have no bad blood against anyone. I'm just purposely trying to make sure that camp is better for 2021 than what it's been in 2020, which we didn't have camp, right? So yeah, is there any questions about what we've talked about so far?
And real quick, I just want to, about this feedback form, by all means, still go to your program directors and your camp directors if you want to, you can still talk to them, email, phone calls, whatever. This form goes directly to Willie and myself. Should you want to submit something anonymously, or if you want to make sure it gets to Willie, if you're not sure it's getting there. So that's what this form is for, but there's still all the avenues that are still open to talk to people. This is just another option for you. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Very good. On to the next one, my friend. So basically, John, I don't have the breakout room feature. Did you switch that over to me?
Yeah, but that's next. Or doing.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Okay. So right now, I want to leave this open for Q&A for some of the stuff that we've talked about. What I would like is this to relate more to camp-wide operations, overall PV camp-wide operations, or council-related. If it is specific to Camp Chris Dobbins, Magnus, Wes, any of those programs, we will have breakouts here in just a minute after this Q&A, just general Q&A session, for you to ask those specific questions to our respected management teams for those programs. So want to make sure that we leave this time for anyone to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the whole purpose of this call, is to answer some of the concerns that you may have for going forward.
So Willie, the first question comes from Amanda Potter, and she says, after all the hard work with the Dobbins management that the Dobbins management did last year, and trying to respond to a COVID camp without a camping director, what was the reasoning behind going with new people instead of trying to have some continuity?
Great question. Great question. So part of the reason we are going with new management, new people in the management side, is a couple of reasons. One, because the entire council is going in a different direction than what it's done in past years. So that is something that we're emulating at the top. And, people want to hear this, some don't, but change happens at the top. And filters down. Not saying that any of the past directors or any of the past management staff was not good at their job or didn't do it. I think you guys did fantastic, especially with the challenges that you had placed in front of you. I think you guys did fantastic. But with new perceptions come new realities. And so basically, as we started planning for 2021 and looking at what has happened over 2020 and 2019 and the past years, some of the conversations came up that we needed to approach summer camp in a different mindset than what we've done in past years. With that being said, that's where we came up with the idea to do different management styles. Now, we're still using the information that the 2020 management team created for the COVID plan. We're definitely using that as a template. We're not trying to recreate the wheel. And we'll definitely reach out to those individuals for any advice about what they did right. And if they have any advice going forward with new information. But essentially, we're in a new ball field. As you've seen, I've explained all of the changes that have happened. So that's kind of the reason is we're all moving in a new direction, and that's it. I hope that answers your question.
All right, so Owen is asking that we mentioned new deadlines for new Madden scholars, but what are the deadlines for existing Madden scholars? And I think Matt jumped in and said, so transcripts are due by January 15th. You must also apply, interview, and accept a position for 2021 summer camp. And Jolynn sent out an email recently to the Madden scholars. So is that accurate information to that question, Billy?
Correct.
Awesome. All right, so Diego is wondering, are there any actual concrete policies that we've come up with regarding COVID? It's all been very vague so far.
So great question. Basically what is happening is the ACA, American Camping Association, is compiling with the national organization let me rephrase. Those two organizations are working together to compile information from camps that successfully operated in 2020. That information is getting released here within the next, I would say, 30 days. I'd say about 30 days. End of January, and then we will be reviewing it with the Elbert County Health Department so that we can actually make those concrete decisions. Currently, right now, everything is very fluid. As you guys have seen, counties have locked down to the red level. For Colorado, or for those that are in Colorado, we have all locked down to the red level. So some of that information is kind of a moving target at this point. So there are not hard, concrete policies yet, just due to not having as much information so that we can create those policies. We've got a general outline of what we would like to do, but it also needs to align with the state, county, as well as our child care licensing requirements as well. So to answer your question, no, there's not hard policies created yet, but here within the next 30 to 60 days, there will be. And those will be released on our website, Chris Dobbins' website, to go to our participants, to our units that are signing up, potentially signing up. And I will also make sure that it is included on the staff page so that all of the staff can be informed on what policies are being updated and enforced at PV.
And Willie, is it fair to say too, with the COVID stuff, that we can anticipate some different things such as possibly mask wearing like we all are currently, maybe some changes to dining and things like that? Is that already anticipated?
Yes, so that's a great point. I totally forgot about that. One of the things that we definitely will be putting in place no matter what is that we will have to have masks. Everyone will need to wear masks. That's just the recommendations that we're finding from all of the professionals we talked to. All of the camps that operated successfully all had masks and they had no outbreaks or any issues with it. So we're going to continue with that model. As far as food service goes, currently the model is to have in campsite dining and not in the dining hall. So instead of traditionally, we've always had them come into the dining hall. We have a split shift and we cram pack everyone in there. What we're looking at because of COVID is delivering food to the campsites via Cambros. There'll be a hot one, a cold one, and there's a whole policy and procedure with that. That is the ideal model at this point. If the COVID restrictions or guidelines are loosened to where we can have dining at the dining hall, we will definitely make that change. But as it sits right now, we are currently looking at having meals served within the campsite. And there'll be more information coming out with that. We're working with our food service, Candle, to get their policies and procedures and all of that jazz.
And is it still unknown if, last year we talked about the model of, you stay in the campsite and the staff come to you versus traditional summer camp where you go to the different areas. is that still kind of unknown? We're still waiting that guidance?
Yes. So that kind of goes to our management planning a COVID and a non-COVID plan. Currently, the COVID plan is exactly what John just described. The first one, having more lodge-based summer camps, so mini summer camps at the lodges. Merit badges are all taught there, except for specialty items such as shooting sports, aquatics, biking, things where you need a actual facility to do that. So yeah, that is the full intent at this point. If we are able to have more people, or the guidelines are loosened for us to operate summer camp more in a traditional model, then we will definitely move to that model. But we are properly preparing and planning for both models.
Awesome. So if you're following the chat questions, I'm going to skip around a little bit, but we will come back to some of the questions, but I want to stay in the topic of COVID for the moment. One question was asked, is it possible that we would shift to a virtual camp only?
To a virtual camp?
Yes.
Currently, it is not in play. It's not necessarily something we've thrown out as far as like no, that's not going to happen, but it's not on the list of ideal options for summer camp. We may be looking at that as a plan B or a plan C, really, to our COVID model. So if we cannot operate summer camp at all because the state tells us so, then we'll definitely have that in our back pocket. I think that's a great idea. There were other summer camps across the nation that did very well with a virtual summer camp. So we are taking some of that models. We haven't put a whole lot of effort into it, but that's a good point, and I will put that on a list of positive ideas to add to our summer camp planning. Thank you for that feedback, whoever said so.
All right, so jumping to a different topic, Willie, so I'll read the question specifically, but if you kind of want to talk a little bit more about the topic too, that I think that'd be ideal. So the specific question is, does the new budget change affect anything with the pay for our camp staff? And so if you could answer that and also talk about what we're looking at for the pay scale, I think that might
Yeah. Actually, I need to pull that information out before I start talking about it. So yes, it does change, but it does not change in the fact that you would think you're going to lose money. As everyone has probably seen, Colorado State had to raise their minimum wage for seasonal staff. And so we fell with that and accordingly. So technically you guys will get paid more than what you have done in past summers, just because of the Colorado increase that's there. We're trying to make it comparable. I know that the pay scale has been low for several years, and it's frustrating. A couple of things I want to say about that before I move into kind of what the scale range is. Summer camp is not a career as far as a summer camp position. It's more for experience. It's more for fun. It's not there to make a lot of money in summer camp, if that makes sense. So if the expectation is that you would get paid as much as you would for a normal 9 to 5 during the summer, that's not going to be the case. And if you don't know by now, I'm a very honest and blunt person. I really don't like to beat around the bush. So that's kind of that's kind of the deal, is that it's not going to be a high paying job, but we are going to make it comparable. We're going to try to make it seem like it's a reasonable salary across the field. So with that being said, let me get the rest of my, sorry.
Did you want to throw up that scale?
Hold on. I got to find it first.
I have it if you want.
Do you want to put it up?
Yeah, I think I have the correct version. Is it the
Fingers crossed.
the one that you made with the base offer?
Yes.
Okay. If it's wrong, tell me and I'll take it off real quick. But I think, let me hold on.
Okay.
It's loading. All right. Can you guys see that? Hopefully this is the right one.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to blow it up so I can see. Okay. So as you guys can see on the screen, you can see the new Colorado wage order, what it's supposed to be, and then you can see the pay scale from there. So the base offer is brand new, don't have any experience, or I say experience, but that is the base level, that is the bare bones of what we would be offering for that pay scale. And you can see it's categorized between shelter directors, area directors, assistant program directors.
The positions are a little outdated, but it's generally those types of positions, just
right
for everyone's.
Yeah. So this is essentially the pay scale. It is an increase over past years, from my understanding. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say on that unless there's more questions.
Willie, so the next question about pay is, will the pay scale being heightened affect how many people will be hired? And if so, is there a priority on who gets hired?
Okay, so if I understand that question, we are looking for, are we going to be hiring essentially the same amount of people that we've done in past years? And if not, is there a priority on who gets hired over other people? Is that correct?
That's how I read it. I'm not sure.
Okay. So yes, there will be there will be a cut, or there will be some cuts to the staff, just because, like I've demonstrated before, explained before, that we're not expecting as many campers, just because the membership pool has consistently shrunk down. We will be cutting back as much staff. As you guys can see, as I've told you guys, we're not having Tahosa. They're not running a summer camp program. Camp Dietler is not running a summer camp program other than NYLT, and that's all done by NYLT staff. So essentially we are staffing for Magnus, the West program, as well as Dobbins. Now, we have also added a program called Outdoor Scouting at Magnus, or OSM, or Awesome, which was the COVID version of summer camp that we did for Cub Scouts once all the announcements were done. Devin and Matt successfully pulled this off, created the program and pulled it off, and we are R&Ding that to do an overnight experience. So it's a half day, stay over the night, stay the next half day, and then they go home. So we'll be staffing for some of that, but some of that will be done on the council level as well. In past years, I think that we have hired around just for Peaceful Valley, I think we've hired around the 120 to 130 mark. And that goes from Magnus, Dietler, and Dobbins. Right now, we're looking at roughly about 80 to 95 people going for Magnus and Dobbins. So yes, there will be a cut in staff as far as what positions are available. That's also due to the structure of the program. Like I said, we're looking at a mini summer camp per lodge. So that may not require as many instructors as we've had to facilitate all of the lodges at once. So yes, there is. As far as priority, we're having staff interviews, and the way I look at this is if you've been here for several years, I want you to apply, because I think that you have the experience and the knowledge to do so and to push this program forward. I'm not going to say that there's a preference over who we would be hiring. As far as tenured staff over new staff, we're looking for quality people. That's what I'm looking for, is quality people. It's going to be a tough year, so there's limited spots, and we're going with the best qualified person for those positions. So I hope that answers your question. I don't really want to dive too much into that full hiring process because we're still in the mix of it. And we're still determining some of those positions that are going to be available and what we're having. Does that answer the question, John?
I think so. If it doesn't, throw another question in the chat. So the next question. So what are the future plans for Tahosa and Dietler for future summers? Are we assuming that they won't be operating the same way from now on, or are there plans to bring them back should the numbers go back up?
So great question. With Tahosa, I'll start out with Tahosa. So with Tahosa, for 2021 is going to be more of a hiatus year. We're going to suspend council programming up there and hopefully, ideally, bring it all back in 2022. Part of this is due to finances. Part of this is due to just manpower of staff at the professional level down to the summer camp level. So that's kind of the intention, is that we will bring it back in some form or fashion. Just not sure what that's going to look like for Tahosa. Camp Dietler is still up in the air. We're talking about bringing it back or revamping the program. I don't know if many of you know the attendance rate, I guess, of how many people actually signed up for Dietler, but it was very low, very low. Out of our Denver Area Council, just in Denver Area Council, which is the majority of who attended that program, was only about 4 to 5% of the entire council that attended the Dietler program. And that is an average from 2017 to current. So in short terms, the program was good. It just was not appealing to the audience at this point. So we're looking at revamping the program or trying to do something a little different to make it more appealing to our current audience. But there's no intentions to cancel any program or throw any program out that has been done in past years. 2021 is more of a survival mode. Let's get back to what we do good, what we do very well, which is Camp Christophans and Magnus. Those are the two solid programs that work consistently around the clock with no issues. And those are the ones that we're going to focus on for 2021. 2022 is going to be a different story as we get closer to it. That's going to require for the bankruptcy, information from the bankruptcy, information from the lawsuits. If you don't know, councils are merging. There's talks for other councils around the nation that are merging, which means that other summer camps are going to be available for purchase. So it's kind of like flooding the market with opportunities. Those opportunities are going to go away as we go into 2021. So that position may change as we go forward, but at this current status, we're not looking at canceling any programs. 2021 is just more of a pause for those two camps.
All right. I don't see any other questions. We'll just be here for just another moment. If you have questions, again, not specific to your specific camp or program, for camp as a whole, council, we'll take those now. Otherwise, we'll go into camp breakout sessions. In the camp breakout sections, you'll talk about your 2021 program, the updates. Your management team wants to know your ideas. They want to know what you want to see at camp and what is something that can make your job easier. So